what triggered this idea, Weihaur, was your talk about the disunion, about the arguments that people were having. And I'm seeing as maybe as an emerging leader, I guess you could say, or trying anyway, on the job, I'm finding disunions among cultural groups. And in my historical research as a public historian, I know that in in the 40s and in the 50s and the 60s, this was really normal. Say, for example, Cesar Chavez and NAACP. So just as an example, this is a real example. They could never make common cause because they were being discriminated against in different ways. And so I think Rahel, what you were talking about, the roots go very, very deeply. And so I'm asking you guys, if anybody has any advice about how to walk into leadership roles where you have multicultural groups and you want to be respectful of all of them, but sometimes they don't always get along. I think that's my question. Maybe a little inchoate, but that's my question. If anybody has any thoughts on that.
I like to chip into to that. I personally, was in the business sector, like it's more like a corporate setting, and right now I'm transition social services. What Weihaur talk about is a very common scenario right now, like organizations specializing in some ethnic group. In terms of mingles, I don't think they mingle in a way that frustrating, because people commented on the racial without really understanding other side of the race. Um, yeah, I looking at it, I don't even want to be in the middle of that conversation, sometimes very frustrating. Um, yeah. So right now, interestingly, I used to work in an organization Lower East Side, New York, Hispanic organization, but the clientele have a lot of Asian, mix of black and so white and all that. In terms of they really connect, I it just is maybe is a senior center is very much on the surface level of connecting. Other than that, they get information from the media, and then they make comments about race. It's just a very bad way of get to know another race. They think they know. They watch, some listen to the song, watch movies, some commentary on the social media. That's the way they know, and then they have opinion about things. Um, it's not like that. It's I don't even want to get into the arguments about it. I work in the another social services right now in the substance use and addiction. They in a substance use and addiction, they have all this kind of symptoms, but they in the stabilize and then rehabilitation. If you really talk to them, they're another human being, like a lot of biases towards them. Obviously, they some of them, if I don't know how they look like when they're under influence, so that's another systematic thing. In another word, respond to Weihaur, respond to Amanda if you want to bring up the race. It's right now, if you watch the media, it's very confusing. We at least we here having a civilized conversation. So I don't know. I mean, to me, how I handle in terms of in the space of leadership and stuff, I would only dealing with one in front of me and do my best. That's my, me as an example. Um, yeah. I understand like in terms of cross-cultural, all this is actually is a long way to go.